Hi, this is Kyle Elworthy from Network Essentials, and today's technical tip for small business owners is IT Security 101. First thing I'm going to cover real briefly is the type of policies that you should have in place. I'm not going to go over them in depth, but we do have templates available that are updated every year. If you need a copy, please, my contact information will be at the end of the video. Send me an email, give me a phone call. We'll be happy to share those with you. Password policy. It's important that your employees use complex passwords, typically 8 to 16 characters, uppercase, lowercase, numbers, special characters, the pound symbol, a period, hash symbol. Make them specific for a period of time, 90 days, rotate them. We like to have them not reused for at least 6 times. That's a good policy. Data storage. A lot of clients that we deal with when we come in don't have a policy where they store data that's at least in a written format. They have drive letters and everybody throws it out there. It's really important for the service provider to know exactly where you're storing your data. All your end users know where to store the data so that if a workstation gets stolen or crashes, we're able to restore the business, or if the server goes down, we have backups. We know empirically that this is the data that we're supposed to be backing up. We know where it is. We can prove it. We can test it on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And we go even further to do test restores to verify every month that we can actually bring your company back to a whole stage from the last backup just to verify. Our main priority is thou shalt not lose data. Acceptable use policy. The reason why this is important is it tells specifically if you're giving assets to your employees to use, i.e. laptops, tablets, it specifies what applications they can and cannot use. And the reason that becomes important is so that we know how to patch and make sure that all those third-party programs are patched, because that is one of the big vulnerabilities that create a lot of risk in your environment. Acceptable use policies also mandate that your kids can't use it at home, they can't play games on it, those types of things. Another thing that we're really starting to have to contend with more and more is the bring your own device and bring your own app policies. And everybody wants to use their own phones. They don't want to carry around 2 phones. So being able to connect to your email is one thing, and you can write a policy for that. But other considerations are, do you allow Dropbox to be used? And if you have intellectual property that's in a data format, it's a really easy way for sensitive information to exfil out of your company and then somebody walk away with your intellectual property. So it's just good to be aware of what is being used in your environment and putting policies in place to dictate that. So now we're going to move on to the technology side, and the first thing that businesses that are connected to the internet need is a firewall. This is a next-gen firewall, and I'll explain a little bit what that means. This is a Dell SonicWall TZ500. This is good to handle about 100 meg symmetrical circuit, probably 50 employees. And this has advanced, this is called a next-gen firewall because it adds a bunch of software layers on top of it. So perfect example is everything that comes in and out of the network behind this and is scanned for antivirus at the gateway level, and also going out. So if there's any viruses trying to get into your system, good chance it's going to be blocked at the gateway, and same with going out. If one of your machines is sending viruses outbound, the logs will catch that, and if your service provider or your IT person is looking at those logs, they'll find the anomaly and be able to handle that. They also have advanced functionality of intrusion prevention and intrusion detection, which helps against all the malware and the phishing attacks that are trying to come in and compromise your network. And one of the less used features that we find really valuable to show our clients is the web app filter and also the application filter. So perfect example is certain companies don't want their employees, or their employees don't need to go to Facebook during business hours. We can block that with these type of filters. Now there's certain businesses that use it for social media, and that's completely acceptable, but other websites like YouTube or name your different sites that aren't applicable for business. We can block those here, so that basically increases productivity of your employees. And it gives us good reporting, so we know who's doing what, and it just helps you be aware of what your internet's being used for. Next big thing is spam filtering. Outside of your network, 81% of the infections of malware, spyware, viruses happen through email, and having another layer of filtering of your email outside your email provider is a great way to add additional protection, and it doesn't cost very much. Again, passwords, make sure that your employees are using strong passwords, that they're rotated frequently. We are a big advocate for password vaults, and the reason for that is that every website that you go to that requires a username and password, you want to use a different credential, and the password vault helps you store all those in a secure location. You just need to remember one really strong password, and then you can have access to your bank account securely, to your social media sites securely, and the password vaults don't cost a lot of money either. Another big thing is end user training. Just making your end users aware of what clicking on a link in an email from somebody they don't know could do to your environment is huge. There's programs out there that for 45 minutes train your employees what to look for as far as how hackers are typically getting into your networks, and it's reasonably affordable as well. One of the best bangs for your buck. Computer updates, something that is just part of our standard operating procedures, that critical patches get done immediately. So that is any type of patch that would cover a vulnerability that would allow somebody to gain root or administrative level access directly to your systems. Otherwise, we do them daily and weekly based on our rotations. Having multiple layers of antivirus on your network is also a good idea. So you have a type of antivirus running for everything that comes in and out of your network. From the firewall, you have different type of provider on your workstations and servers. Add different layers of anti-spyware and anti-malware software on top, gives you much better protection as well. Again, it doesn't cost a whole lot, but it helps you overall, give you a more robust defense against viruses. And if you think about it, last year I think the statistic was 20 million viruses were discovered, and the best antivirus companies are blocking about 99% of them. That still leaves about 2 million viruses that have the potential to get through to your network. So the more you can do to protect your infrastructure, the better it is. Encrypt your data at rest and in motion, specifically for emails. When you're sending sensitive emails, Office 365 has a great encryption protocol in their advanced services, and also in file sharing, specifically for businesses that are transmitting personal information, CPAs, law firms, that kind of information. And when all this fails, backup, backup, backup. Our core business believes that thou shalt not lose data, so we have to have backups that meet our clients' recovery point objectives and recovery time objectives. And what that means is how much downtime can you afford until your systems being down cost you money, and how much data can you afford to lose. And when we run that equation, we put a backup in place that meets your needs. We can test it regularly. We can verify that we're doing the job that you're paying us to do. And worst case scenario, if your servers get stolen or blow up or your building burns up, we know that we can recover your business back to a full functioning state in 24 hours or less. So again, this is just basic 101 things that you need to know. Having your network documented is also another big one that's part of our services. You know, if your network's not documented, how do you know how to support your systems? And if your IT company goes out of business, or if your IT guy is on vacation, you have a problem, that's one of the other big things that we find is a deficit in the clients that we come into these days. Again, my name is Kyle Elworthy with Network Essentials. If you have any questions, if you want copies of our password policies, our data storage policies, acceptable use policies, please email me, give me a call, and I'll be happy to share those with you. Thank you.